All right. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Fliplogic Real Estate Show. This is another episode in our long-running series, and the format's Q&A, and we also do some deal analysis, screen sharing as well, and we'll run an hour or until all questions are exhausted. So I'm joined by my co-host here, James, and he and I will begin to get into tonight's topic, or tonight's member deal. That's a pending live deal. That's what we like to do. Something that's real time, real money on the line. A deal that's being done, and we like to get into the nitty gritty of that and share it with you guys. So as we're doing that, as that provokes questions, please get them into the Q&A chat box. There's a Q&A there in your toolbar there, and I'm already seeing some come in, which is great, and most are no sound yet. Sounds good. No visual yet. Let's see. So maybe we can get some feedback from everybody on the line. If you would, let me know if you can hear us, if you can see us, and we'll get rolling here. So yeah, Brian's on the line. He says, "How was Thailand?" So obviously the audio's working. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Thailand was awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but that was my first time to an Asian country, period. And awesome culture, by the way. The people there are really cool. Very nice. The dollar, talk about stretching your dollar. Your dollar goes for every $3, and right now the Thai baht is the strongest it's ever been against the dollar. So not the best time to go, but still, I'll break it down for you. For every 100 Thai baht is $3. So really, like your food, your drinks are like $3 to $5. Like if you're gonna get a beer or like a cocktail. If you're gonna get a meal is usually like somewhere between $6 and $9. So maybe while that's not like crazy cheap, the food's really good, and the accommodations are still pretty cheap too. You can stay at a really nice resort for like 100 bucks a night, I think is what it was. I think it was like something like that, and you stay like they just take care of you. They're so nice, and everybody's so friendly. So if you haven't gone to Thailand, I recommend it. The other place that I hear is really cool. I mean, if you're going to jump on a 20-hour plane ride and fly across the country, I hear Vietnam is awesome. Vietnam is also near Thailand, but it's less developed. There's less tourism, which means like instead of paying $3 for a drink, you're paying like 30 cents for a drink. Or instead of like $6 for a meal, you're paying like a dollar or $2. It's so much cheaper because the tourism hasn't set in yet, which causes the prices to go up. So there you have it. All right, James, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear us? Yep, I can hear you. So cool. So I've been gone, but I still stay in touch. Obviously, can only do so much while I'm away. But I know tonight's deal, and as I had mentioned, we're going to get into it right now. I'm going to put the screen share for it. We're going to get into a deal of a member of ours, William Johnson. He's just on a roll. So hopefully he'll be on tonight. So he can put in his 2 cents here too. But we're going to get into a gold members deal, William Johnson. And James is really going to fill us in because I really don't know much about this. I know a little bit, but James will have to go in and tell us what's going on with, numbers and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah. It says another, you see the other user is active with it. I checked my screen. I don't have it on my screen. Williams probably got it on his, but he's driving, so he'll be coming back. Anyways, though.
Okay. So give us some context, give us some background on this. We can see it up on the screen now. It's a 3-3, almost 2,200 square feet on almost a 5,500 square foot lot.
Right.
And if I go to the map, we can see that this is a Los Angeles property. So we can see this here. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll do two things. I'll pull up a street view, and then I'll go over here to the steps, or it's, checklist, which breaks down like, how to approach a deal. And I'll open it up on Zillow, see if there's any photos on there. And then you can kind of fill in the blanks here for us.
Sure.
Here, yeah. So here it is. So this was, let's see, this awaiting court confirmation. So this was a probate of some sort.
Yeah. If you scroll back up, you can see the days on market. It was 80 days on market. You flew by it pretty quick.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. I'll just look at the price history first. So it was last sold in 98 for 300,000. It was listed right before the Thanksgiving holidays and all of that, November 8th.
Yeah.
It went pending 12/13, and then I'm guessing it fell out and then they did a price reduction. January 8th to $750. So it came on at $800, $50,000 price reduction to $750. Here's some of the photos. It looks like there's like, is this vinyl windows here? Looks like a newer roof. It doesn't look like a junker. It looks like it's just a dated property, some old vanities.
Well, the story behind it is the owner, he ran out of money to finish his upgrades, because you can see he painted the exterior. That's the original exterior you can see from a while ago. If you see on there as the street view, as opposed to the MLS view.
Yeah, I mean.
So he's
the street view. Yeah. Let's look at that. Yes, here's the street view. We got like this older rock along the bottom quarter, and I can't really see what maybe that's gray, maybe that's white, maybe it's just faded, kind of the brownish glass door.
Right.
Let's look at the MLS photo. Okay, it looks pretty much the same as the street view.
Right.
In the exterior.
Right. But I think that's more of a white, a little bit faded. This, you can tell the color's a little bit, you can tell they've repainted it. The story behind it is the guy.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Did some roof
work.
It
Looks like maybe they repainted it.
Repainted it, and then started on the interior, but couldn't complete his reno work before he picked up an NOD. And then, they put it on the market, and we had put in an offer in on it at like 730 in December. But I think our offer was rejected because they picked up another offer at 740 and decided to go that route.
Okay.
And then they fell. Okay. And since the market has changed within the last 2 months, because we're here end of January, we told the agent that the market's changed since we put that offer in. We have to come in at a lower price now, and so we came in. Okay. We came in at 705 and got acceptance. So let's see. Let's look at your analysis here real quickly. So because you're talking, the seller got an offer at 740. We offered 730. Of course, they said, well, not of course, not always does price always win. Terms play a big deal in it. And if you think about a convenience store, I know it's a silly
analogy, but if you think about a convenience store, price doesn't win there, does it? Because you know you're going to pay more at a convenience store, but why? So you're not getting a good price deal, but why do you go to a convenience store? Because you're going for speed, certainty, and convenience stores. So sellers who are motivated, they do love convenience. Whenever, you or myself or any of us here on the show here tonight, finds ourselves in a motivated situation, we do love convenience. So let's put the numbers into perspective here so we kind of understand the 740 versus 730, why they offered 740, why we offered 730, and how things kind of shook out here to where we even got into contract. So talk us through, well, I guess first off, before we go into the ARV, obviously you guys understood that there was what? Number one, there was motivation, right? Seller is extremely motivated. He's in a cash crunch, needs to get out of this thing, right? Number two, condition, right? Just like you were talking about before, the upgrades had started was begun, right? Upgrades were started. You can see where they started like priming and painting. Looks like where they started sanding some floors. Again, priming and painting. It looks like some new drywall that was put in. Maybe these are new cabinets. I don't know. I don't love them, but they're not old oak unless they were painted over. But this is nice travertine tile in the kitchen, and it's not the nicest kitchen, but yes, I can see where maybe they're going to change that out. Maybe they're going to leave it. I don't know, but yes, I see where there's room here there's room to upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. Yep. Okay. And that bathroom looks good. It looks like that maybe that was one that he finished. That one's not.
Yep.
Okay. So with us understanding that the two things you always look for in every deal, motivation and then the condition, right? Motivation's there. Condition is there. It's not in retail improved HGTV ready, retail ready, right? There's room to add value by doing upgrades and improvements, right? So now let's talk about the numbers that you were looking at, James. Let's start with the comps, and we'll reverse engineer it from the value. What's this thing worth once it's all fixed up?
If you can, just hit that date sold there on the bottom right there.
Okay, date sold.
Yeah, and then
bring up the.
Yeah, there we go. It'll bring up the most recent.
So that's the most recent to the top. Because as you were mentioning, the market's changed over the last maybe since late summer. It's been changing.
Right, and then you'll notice the dates, and then square footages are pretty accurate, and then the lot differences. We got about 1,000 square foot lot difference, which we have to take into account, which is why we're not at 1 million,
right?
1,200,000.
Right.
And then what the future holds for the market, it's very uncertain. Who knows? But we are heading into a downward market, and we have to keep that in mind when presenting anything to an investor now. The next couple of years, we're heading downwards. So an investor is going to want to have, more money involved in the deal because, we priced it at 1 million, but it may not sell at 1 million. It may sell at 950 or in the nines. But you can see where we got the $1 million ARV because everything in the area is in the $1 million mark.
Yeah, because I can see we're at 2184 square feet with a 58 lot size, built in 1936. And I can see our first comp, which is really close, only 1,600 square feet away, right here. Or right here, it looks like this one here sold for. It's a 3.2, so it's a 1 bath less, about 100 square feet less about 1,000 square feet more in the lot size, as you were mentioning. It sold for 1.24 in December.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. Does it have any views on it or anything that would make it more superior versus ours?
Possibly. You'd have to pull it up and take a look. But you know, it's recent.
Let's take a look. So if I check this here,
it does sit
so
on.
If I click the link, go ahead.
It does sit on a hill, so it's kind of, you'll see it's kind of slanted a little bit. Oh, looks like they may have even put up a rendering. They may tear it down. Building right now in this market is dangerous. Not a lot of people are going to be doing it. But
let's see, it looks like it looks like a rendering just, looks like they put up a rendering just for what, aesthetically, what they can do to change the roof color, the exterior paint color and garage door and all that. But they did that, so it looks like they didn't have to go do that. And then the inside and the interior is already, I don't think those are renderings. I think that's the real deal. It's just, it looks like the interior is upgraded, but they just didn't do that to the exterior. And they got 124 for it.
Yeah.
They got 124. Was it a flip? It was a flip. Yeah. Somebody really is just, wow. No, is that right?
I'd have to check.
It sold for 507 in February last year. They listed it in October for 125, and it sold for 124. I wonder if that's what they really got it for. Okay, in the Prestige Historical District.
We'd have to profile to double check. Because sometimes.
All right, so obviously that's a great comp. It didn't tell us if there were any views. I don't see any views.
No views.
It does have a nice big backyard.
The kitchen is superior.
Oh wait, I did see a view. Here's a view here. So they do get some views from some portion of the house.
Maybe from the backyard. But
I definitely get some views in this shot.
I don't know.
It looks from an upstairs terrace.
Yeah.
So let's look again back at our comp. Our subject property. So we don't have anything, no views like that.
No views.
Okay. So let's see what else. So definitely that view already, that's going to make, that's going to be one reason why things vary so much.
Right.
Because all our other comps here, have a 0 after the 1. That one's got a 2. So obviously that was the purpose there. Then we've got Don Luis Drive. It's 1,800 square feet, almost 6,400 square foot lot size. Sold for $1,050,000. This one sold for, these are the same. This was entered twice. For that. This one, 1,775, sold for $1 million. Okay, so, and then this one sold for $990. So it seems like you could make the case for, we've got more square footage. It seems like you could make the case for, almost maybe even 1.1, but we priced that at $1 million. That's definitely a good price point. That's definitely a fair value for it. And if we really wanted to confirm if that's true or not, we could come to the comp here and check on it. I guess the other thing is our subject is on a boulevard, right? How busy, do we know how busy this boulevard is, or what kind of a boulevard? If I go up here, I'll click on this and I'll look at the street view. It doesn't look like we're busy of a boulevard, actually.
No, we're a couple of parcels down from that major street right there. think we're like 3 or 4 parcels down.
Yeah.
So it's not going to have it's not going to have the undesirability of when you leave your house, you're leaving onto a major street that, you know, cars are traveling at 40, 50 miles an hour. And, you know, you don't get as much street noise.
Okay. Here's the other comp real quick that I wanted to look at that was a little smaller than our subject, 1,824 square feet.
I think
it's also rehabbed.
Right. I think this one has a pool.
Charming, no view.
Okay. No pool.
Does it have a pool? No pool. No pool. And it, let's see the days on market and what it looked like. So it was listed in September, went pending in 3 weeks, and then sold the next month after that. So 3 weeks on market. So that's pretty good. 21 days on market. So here's our street view again. I just wanted to see. They call it a boulevard, but it really is not a boulevard.
No.
This is a residential street. That's really interesting. That's good to know. The other deterrent is, you know, nobody likes living across the street. Nobody wants to live in $1 million house. I don't want to say nobody, but definitely living across from a multifamily apartment is, you know, it's a downer. It's not something that is as appealing as a pure single family neighborhood. Okay. So taking all of that into account, with this being $1,050,000 for 1,800 square feet, we've got, you know, $575 a foot, you know, and we're, what's that, 300 square feet larger almost. So, so I can get behind the $1 million ARV. So that's where we placed it, right? So if we look at our analysis, repair costs, we're using $70,000, which is about $32 a foot. How did we determine that, or what was the thinking there?
Just to price it high, just for the sake of the deal, you know, because it's nice to have too much in there than too little. Usually we do 30 to 35 bucks a foot if the roof is bad. You know, that's how I do my.
Right, 30. Yeah, 30 to 35 a foot if it needs a roof and a full rehab. Right.
Right. But it's also a $1 million home too.
It's true. This is not a starter home by any means. It's not even a median priced home. It's a $1 million home. So yeah, people typically want $1 million finishes. Like here's the other comp, but you also, again, it all comes down to the comps, right? So you look at the comps here, every market's a little different. It doesn't have real fancy like interior trim work or design, but it's got some cute little things about it. You know, they you know, the wood fence. Let's see, like inside, I'm not seeing like any big interior design, custom finishes. I mean, you've got this kitchen. I mean, you've just got like a wood, you know, standalone counter or, you know, island counter. Yeah, some stainless steel appliances. That's Wolf. But again, nothing like too fancy. You know, you've got your luxury vinyl plank, you know, wood flooring. And then you've just got your white and gray, you know, contrasting walls and your vinyl, and it's got solar. Nothing real fancy in the backyard, just some landscaping, a little, you know, I don't know, what's a gazebo. And some planters. Okay, so I think that's fair. $32 a foot, 70,000.
Right.
To finish.
I think $30 a square foot ended up being like 68,000 or something. So I just rounded it up, use an even number.
Okay. All
Uh,
right.
then we left it at 4 months for hold time, just because $1 million homes take longer to sell. But we did look at the comps and how quickly they sold. So we do
comp. Yeah, I had a 21-day. This one's across the street from. It's not as nice of a street, so you may have some longer holding time. So I can see why 4 months is justified.
Mm-hmm.
So we use first mortgage percentage of purchase price 80%. That's just defaulted into the system. You can always change that. There's a lot of lenders out there now that offer 90% of the purchase price, and they'll do 100% of the rehab. So that would almost be a combined 95% almost. And I see a lot of them. They advertise all sorts of different rates, usually anywhere between like 8 and 12%. I think 10 is fair because a lot of them will charge like 1.5 points, something like that. Maybe even 1.5 points. Are they? They're like between 6.5 and 10, or 7.5 and 10. No, maybe 8.5 and 10 for the rate. So I always think this is fair. 80% and a 10% rate, somewhere in there. So if we boosted it to 95 and 10, so you're close to 14.3 for the ROI, 125 net. I guess if I didn't change this,
right,
if I left it where we were at, we were close to 15% ROI, which is what's defaulted into the system. The system would tell you to sell it at 729 based on those numbers, and that's what we did, right? We put it out, or we offered 730. Is that right?
No, we offered 705, and
we offered 705.
Yeah, and we got acceptance. For the people that don't know, Ryan, what is a point?
A point is 1% of the loan amount. So if it was going to be a $640,000 loan amount, then if the lender's charging 1 point, they'd be charging $6,400.
Yep. Okay, so
we
I was just going to get back into the numbers here. So when we picked up the contract, we sent it out to our buyers list.
Well, wait, before that.
Okay.
So we came up with a max rehab price of basically the system said 729. It sounded like we rounded it up to 730.
Yeah.
Which is the max rehab price. That's the max a rehabber, whether it's you or somebody else, but that's about the max you'd want to pay to rehab the property, right? The max rehab price, 730. That would leave a net rehab profit of 129,000. If you wanted to see how the expenses broke down out of that based on what's already, pre-programmed in, you could generate a profit analysis, and then you can go into that and see how that breaks down. We won't go into all that right now, but that's how. I'll just pull it up just for a quick peek. Just so so we know the relevance of this net number we're talking about, but that's how all the expenses break down. So that 129,000 is not a gross number; that's a net profit number. All right,
right,
and that gets attached to the marketing email when it's blasted out automatically, as long as it's generated.
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty compelling. So a rehabber would, $130,000 rehab profit. That's pretty healthy at almost a 15% ROI. And that's over the course of 4 months. If you're talking annually, that's almost 45%, 44.5%. That's pretty good versus the stock market. So you can see why that'd be pretty good. And then it's even higher when you're talking about the actual cash on cash. If the rehabber's actually borrowing, right, to leverage. If they're borrowing to leverage, based off that, their cash on cash is 68%. If they were bringing 20% down into the deal because I reset it to 80%. Annualized would be a 204% ROI, or sorry, 204% cash on cash, based off the down if they were bringing 93,000 into the deal, because if they were financing at 80% of the purchase and rehab costs. Pretty good. All right. So then what did you offer?
So,
what did we offer? What did William offer?
We offered 705 because the agent said they wouldn't. We originally offered, I think it was like 700, and they said no.
Okay.
700, we'll just leave it on the market. And then at 705, and then we got acceptance. And upon acceptance, we sent it out to our list and got.
Wait, all right. Let me pause. Let me stop you there. So that's an interesting point you just made. Was you guys offered 700. Now the initial cash offer, which is 70% of ARV, it says offer 637. That's a really healthy margin, isn't it?
Yeah.
The max is at 77% of ARV here, and that says 702. You offered 700. Obviously, the 7 plays a psychological play into it as well. Having a 7 in front of the number for the offer. So here's the interesting point. You offered 700, and they told you that they'd rather leave it on the market and wait, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically your thinking was, let's not wait. Where do we have to be to move forward today? Where do we have to be to make a deal to get this under contract today? Is that right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what did you do? What did you say?
Before acceptance, I told William on the phone, offer 700, see what they say. It's a good starting point. Because our original numbers really didn't change much. They didn't much, but it's a good tactic to say, and it is true. There is some merit behind it, some truth that the market is changing. So our offer from 730 decreased to 700, and then to 705 is where we ended up. Because they came back to us and wanted to see where we were at for a number.
So when you guys said 700 and they said they'd rather wait, then you guys said, well, what if we come up to 705? Would we have an agreement then?
Yeah, that's basic. It's
okay.
So that's what I told William to.
So that was a verbal, and then what? Did the agent go back to the seller? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I believe so. And then we wrote it up and submitted that afternoon. And then, got acceptance on it.
At 705, based on them saying, hey, 700, no thanks. We're going to wait for a better offer to come along. And he said, well, what if we come up to 705? Is that something that we could move forward on? And then the agent went back to the seller, said, let me check. Because obviously every time the agent gets, something changes in terms, he has to represent it to the seller. Doesn't mean you have to rewrite the offer. You can just simply say, hey, listen, could you run 705 by the seller? We'd be willing to come up to that. Because what? Because you already know you can market this thing at 730 and most likely sell it, right? So you've got all that room to come up. You could come up as high as, it'd be good that you keep at least a $10,000 margin. At least, I would think, you could come up to a $5,000 margin if you wanted, but you came up to 705. They said, yes, let's do it. And then you guys formalized it with an offer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we did what were the terms of that offer as far as like inspection period, closing period?
I believe it was like, it was either 5 or 7 days for an inspection and then 14 days to close. And then we had picked up an extension. And we have a solid EMD in now, and we're closing the 8th upcoming.
Okay, so about a 7-day inspection period is pretty good, either 5 days or 7 days, and a 14-day closing, and probably like a $10,000 EMD.
Right.
Which we never had to wire in, did we? Because we marketed the property, through the marketing, put in a blurb, message plays out like this accordingly, put in a subject line, unfinished LA fixer, 730 ask, $1 million ARV. That's rocket science. And then here's the little blurb. Current owner ran out of funds to complete the remodel. His loss is your gain. All right. Any investor seeing that is going to say, all right, I'm interested. Newer roof and some minor upgrades. Put the pictures on Zillow. Huge upside for work that has been completed. All right. Contact James on this due to Ryan being out of the country. That's nice. And then there's the numbers, breaking it down. So it's easy for any investor to go, yeah, I'm interested. Let me give this guy a call and get inside and see if this is something I want to, contract on and wire deposit on. So this was blasted out. And then we had some interest same day, next day.
Same day.
People wanting to get out there and go see it same day.
Yep. So, I had some people contact me. I had 2 people reach out and 2 people walk it the next day with William, the guy who made original contact.
Whose deal it is. Who found it, who originated the deal. He's the one who was out there, banging the drum, picking up the phone, kicking, turning over rocks, making phone calls, letting people know, hey, I'm interested. Do you want to sell? We want to buy. What's the best you can do on it? Are you motivated? Why do you want to sell? Does this thing need work? Is there a way where we can add value to make a profit? Because that's what we do. And the answers were yes, yes, and yes. And then ran the numbers, made the offer, was too low. They said, no, we'll wait. You guys said, we'll sweeten it for you a little bit. And if we do that, can we agree to move forward? And they said, yeah, let's do it. Cool. And then you guys formalized it with an offer, and that's what gave you control and allows you to blast it out to buyers, get them over there, get them inside. And then we sent over an assignment agreement. They signed, they wired, earnest money deposit, and then this will close. When's this going to close? Next week or the 8th?
Yep. 8th of February.
Okay.
Closing.
Okay. 8th of February.
Yeah.
So about another week, a little more than a week.
If you can,
not bad.
Go back up to the analyze area. The buyer that ended up putting his deposit in the next day after his inspection, he's a cash buyer, so he's got no mortgage and no interest rate. So that's gonna
So his ROI is going to be up closer to 17.75,
right,
and 150,000 net profit roughly.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So I'm going to just pause real quick, and we're going to take some questions here. Take a look at our question board. Clayton says, is there a backyard picture? No, it's not true. Is it a no backyard? Good question. What we can do, I didn't see any backyard photos, but what we can do is I'll just go back to our comps tab. And I'll scroll down here. I'll zoom in. And then what I'll do is I'll change it from this map view to a satellite view. And now we can flip around and see if we can see if there's any backyard here. Doesn't really look like there's much. Let's see, backyard. This is a 5,500 square foot lot versus the other one was had a little bit more lot square footage, right?
Yeah.
It was about 1,000 square feet bigger. So yeah, not a whole lot. It's got some backyard. This is covered right here, but it's just like it's all hardscaped. It looks like it's not like green.
No, yeah.
I don't know what this is. Maybe there's some under this tree over here. I'm not sure. That looks like the property line runs right along here, so there's not much there. I mean, it's all going to be like right here, and that's kind of looks like a driveway to a garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just a covered patio. a little bit with
yeah. So yeah, so not much backyard. So that's another reason. Yeah, the garages, they're all in the back. This runs along there. So there's some back there, but not a whole lot. So that's good to note.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I want to go over to the Q&A. So as you guys know, as we're going through this, feel free to get your questions in, and we'll answer them in the order that they're received. Brian says, I've not been able to get a deal from the MLS in a very long time based on ARV times 78% minus repairs, or like 40,000 for small houses in LA. So yeah, ARV times 78 minus repairs. So you say you have not been able to get a deal in a very long time based on offering that, it sounds like. Yeah, that is of like 40,000. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's about right. 78, like, for instance, on this deal, this deal was, there's a couple of reasons why that may happen too. If your sometimes if your ARV is off, if it's too conservative, well, in this case, this was a somewhat conservative ARV. And the offer price on this is 700,000. So, and that tells you right here, this was 77% of ARV minus repairs. So that's under your 78. So yeah, I mean, it takes a number of offers in order for it to stick. It comes down to motivation, and it comes down to condition, and then it also comes down to a little bit of persuasion. You may have been at 78, and then maybe they said, no, thank you, we're going to wait. And then that's when you got to look at your margins again, and then maybe push it up a little bit more. This one being at 702, 730. And I know our number ended up coming down too at what we resold it at.
Right.
So to answer your question, you can only, you don't want to push price to where you tie the deal up, but you can't move it. That's not good. But you want to, maybe it's motivation. Could be a number of things. You just got to continue to make offers.
Timing.
So I don't know how many offers you're making or not, but
it's
and also the market's changing quite a bit too. So you've got sellers who are becoming more motivated, more flexible. So prices are coming down. Sellers are more willing to deal, from what we've found. Take that from a small control group of us, of course. But yeah, we typically find that deals will move at 80 ARV times 83% of ARV times 83 minus repairs. That number, that's going to vary. Obviously, you could ask 10 different people and get 10 different answers. But once you have the property under contract, then it gives investors the ability to get out there, walk it, drive the comps, and then really kind of firm up the number that they're willing to move forward at. And, if that number changes, like it did on this deal, it didn't end up being at 730, ended up being at 720. Because same thing, they didn't agree with something. And then that gives us the opportunity to push it down with the seller as well, to let them know, hey, the 705 number, that's what we were coming in at. That's what we wanted to make it work at. We thought we had room. And then there's going to be some reasons, some justifications during that due diligence time frame that we get from our investors that we can use present to the seller to, make the price adjustment. So we may be able to get it from 705 down to, 690 or 695, or we may not. But it always creates that opportunity to do that. And then whether you want to act upon it or not, ultimately is up to you. You just have to, make that decision and then present the facts. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Brian says, I like the Fliplogic system. Is the replacing 1-888 cash offer? No, it's actually one in the same. Fliplogic is the I guess the brains, if you will. It's the algorithms, the system, all the components of it. 1-888 cash offer is the branding, the lead funnel, the motivated seller and cash buyer forward facing, name that is a call to action to those people. So, when we're dealing with motivated sellers, on our for instance, I'm just going to pull it up here, like on our direct mail to motivated sellers, it's 1-888 cash offer. So so 1, you're credible. 2, you're memorable. 3, they just in the name alone is also the call to action. They know how to get a hold of you, who you are, what you're about. You want to make a cash offer, and they can get a hold of you by dialing 1-888 cash offer extension. I'm 101, James is 103, William's 10, I don't know what he is. He could tell us if he was on here, 107. And then of course he has his email, William at 1-888 cash offer, and his website 1-888cashoffers.com/William, whatever he chose. So that's what that is. It's a lead funnel. It's a brand. It's a call to action. It's what gives you credibility when you're dealing with sellers and also cash buyers, because cash buyers are sometimes like, we deal with a lot of different, wholesalers who don't know what they're doing. They run their numbers incorrectly. Their ARVs are way off. Their numbers are way off. We don't even like to look at their emails because it's just a waste of time. So 1-888 cash offer, and when they see a marketing email formatted like what we were looking at earlier, it gives it more weight and credibility, and also it just makes it easy, right? People get so bombarded with emails every day. When they see a simple subject line, they can scroll down, see some easy numbers that are broken down, on the macro and then the micro by square foot, and they actually see the comps and see what's there to support it. And they go, all right, this is worth digging into. And it's like, oh, this came from these guys. All right, well, it sounds like, they kind of they must know what they're doing, because they're in the business of making cash offers and doing deals every day. So that's what that's for. All right, let's see. Any other questions? This was great. I'm glad that James could fill us in on all of this here. And I believe, let's see if we've got Antoine, thank you for adding value. You bet. I think that's it, guys. So, James, unless there's anything else that you want to add, we're at 7:19 p.m., so we're about 11 minutes left, 10 minutes left on the clock, unless we have any more questions.
We'll see if anybody's got any more questions, and then I'll add whatever else I gotta say.
Yeah, so if anybody else has any more questions, please get them in. But then you can see how the comps, are all displayed here below. So it just makes it very easy. And then if this was your marketing email that you blasted out, and have your contact info at the bottom. If you don't have any buyers to add to your list yet, you can always do the find instant cash buyers and lenders. You can search by keyword or keywords and then an area. So like, it'll search the business directory online. So you can look for anybody who acquires distressed properties, distressed real estate, distressed home buyer, home restoration, single family residence. Yeah, these are just some suggested keywords as you start typing. We buy houses, cash buyer, cash offer, and then you can enter a city. You could do a search. Let's just say we buy houses. Let's just say like Los Angeles. How about Los Angeles? Let's see. This should, and this also, you can access it from over here too. Instant leads, instant cash buyer leads. So let's see if this doesn't backfire on me in here, because this should have geo pulled up here when I was doing this. We do, believe it or not, we do get some bugs every now and then. And when you report them, then our IT team will debug it and get it up and running, typically within the next, day or two, if there's no holidays in the way. If it doesn't generate anything in here, then you can do it from here. But if it generates it, then it allows you to, it won't do it in there. Of course, it's going to happen when I'm live, right? And of course, I set myself up. I knew it, because it didn't geo suggest anything. All right, just to finish my point, so then we can move on here. We buy houses. Loss, and not a lot of rehabbers will maybe have that on their business directory or on their websites, but I'm doing this as an example because you can do multiple searches for different keywords, but it allows you to, this is for if you don't have anybody on your buyers list yet to blast your deal to. This allows you to connect with some buyers. So here's some here. So you can connect with some of these. This will take you to their website. So you could go to, here, let's go to Sabrina Buys Houses. So here's Sabrina Buys Houses. This is her website. So you've got that information there. You can email her, you can call her, and then you can connect with her and then add her to your buyers list. So it's a pretty cool way to be able to do that. And so anyways, we have it automated to where you can just automatically add them, but they've got to have their full info's got to populate. If it doesn't, then you can add on what's there when you select it and hit add to my buyers list or add to my buyers. It'll add what's there, and then you can fill in the blanks after a conversation with them. So it's a pretty cool way to get rolling in a certain area. So I could collect that, add to my buyers, and then it would add the name, phone number, and then there's no email here. Like this one would add a name, phone number, and email. Since this one wouldn't, I'd want to click that or call them, and then I'd want to get an email for them, obviously, because that's how email marketing blasts work. You need an email. So, and then the different keyword searches you use, the better results you're going to get. All right. Let's see. Any other questions in closing here? I think we've answered everybody's questions.
You want to check the YouTube? See if anybody's.
I think that's it. I think we nailed it.
Okay.
Did James do a good job or what? I think James, I think you came in, you broke it all down. I don't think anybody has any questions. I think everybody just knows that they just need to go out there and either send out letters to, you could use the direct mail resources, pull a list, send out a letter campaign. You could go to FSBOs on Craigslist or Zillow, go to listings on Zillow, and you can start making phone calls, dialing for dollars that way. Send out letters, you could door knock. you know, those are some of the easiest ways to be able to, you know, get up and get going. You could start putting up, you know, ads on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, letting people know, you know, you're a cash buyer, you're interested in buying, you know, distressed properties or buying their house. Or you just go direct to the source, which is why a lot, you know, most people, they like to pull a list and then send out a letter campaign. I mean, you definitely can get some very nice deals doing it that way, because off market means less competition and bigger margins. So, all right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. You know, this was really great. Thanks, James, for being here. Thank you, everybody. Brian, Clayton, everybody, for being here. This was wonderful, and I really look forward to doing these every Monday night. I think it's super productive breaking down a deal like this in real time, you know, on a real system in a real way where, you know, we get real results, make real money. So thanks, everybody. I will see you all next Monday. This is Ryan signing off. Thanks, James.
Yep.